Daniel chapter 2, verse 34, I believe, or 35 to 44. Read it. I don't want to go too much in detail on it, but I'm going to start with the legs of iron. So, what were the legs of iron that Daniel was speaking of? You have to look at the context of things. Originally, he was talking about the idol of Babylon. Babylon was an empire. So, context here is empire. What was the legs of iron? Rome. For Rome, much like the legs of iron, shattered. And it did bruise. It's very symbolic, seeing as Rome was a very slave-based empire, most of which, although yes, started out as a republic, kind of like us. Funny, U.S., us, play on words maybe. Slave empire, which at one point came to about 80 to 90% of the population was in a way slaves, and the rest were the oligarchs and their foot soldiers and mercenaries. The legs of irons shattered. They did bruise because the systems were still in place. Rome learned that they did not need to rule directly. In fact, they learned that from their own form of military-industrial complex. When it came to the point when the military would just sell the throne to the highest bidder, and then they would kill that guy and then do it again. We do that now in the United States. We don't kill every president. Practically sell it, though. The point is, you leave a system that is corruptible and yet allows the people to believe they are free. And that is why it bruises. Law. How do you uphold law, which upside down and flipped around is mal, as in bad? How do you enforce it? With policy enforcers. They uphold the law. Who now runs the law? The state. Who runs the state? Well, the wealthy do. Kind of can't be in the state or leading the state if you don't have some kind of wealth in order to have a campaign. And therefore, the only way that anyone can be anything in the United States is if they're already part of the set oligarchy. Easy, isn't it? But, of course, like the shattering of iron, there's so many pieces, it's hard to tell which one is which rules which. And that is why it's so confusing. That's why it's a brilliant construction. Order through chaos. You think that when it came to the Civil War, that wasn't just some kind of, that was just a happenstance. That was implementation. They learned from the separating of Rome into two empires, and then there into more. You just gotta keep dividing. Once you divide everyone against themselves and you get them to fight each other all the time, and it's just population control. That's what war is. The world is already owned. Now it's just trying to keep us in line. And since the population has been growing so much and there hasn't been enough war to go around to kill us off, they're trying to find a way to get us to kill each other, whether it be in our own countries or outside of it. And that is why I say to you, be well aware. The civil war that they're trying to enact, it's more just to control you. They want it, so they have an excuse to bring out martial law, which we've technically been under martial law for the longest time, since the Civil War, actually. That's why we got these military flags instead of the peacetime flag, and our state flags flying. Needless to say, The bloodlines of Rome, the Merovingians, and their bastards, they are what really run things. And they rule behind the scenes through various secret societies, factions, etc., etc. They rule through the wealthy. And you know this simply through all those that they have out there, including the Jesuit puppet that we have in charge of the United States today, El Trumpo. But he's a puppet for Israel, yes. And yet Israel was constructed by whom? Rothschilds. Well, who are the Red Shields? Who carried Red Shield? Rome! Oh man, it's just a cycle, isn't it? Keeps going back and forth, round and around. And this is why I say that we are about to be in the feet of mirror clay and iron. They don't mix. I think what that really means is they're trying to do away with the type of control they have already. They want it, so they can rule semi-directly again. But instead of having all of these time-consuming processes and, allowing people to believe that they're free, they want a society of people underneath the head society. Those who follow the Talmud. Feet of mirror clay. What's mirror clay? It's wet clay. It's mud. So, you got Chabad working to put all that together through the 19th century. And here we are, 20th century, and they've almost have it complete. Now it's just setting up for the fall of this new Rome that we've created. Oddly enough, just like Rome, we started as a republic, and here we are as an empire, fighting wars all over the place, gouging out the resources of every land, and enriching ourselves along the way as we enslave the populace more and more. Wake up. Don't worry. Just like the feet. The feet is the smallest part of the human body. I mean, aside from your hands. But in terms of Daniel's vision, it'll be crushed swiftly as soon as they start to implement these things. God will wipe it all away. Trust me. Read Daniel's chapter 2. You'll see exactly what I mean. And from the visions that Christ has shown unto me when I was a child, it's going to suck. But then it's going to be beautiful. Hold out. Trust in Him. Fear in Him. Do not fear men or what they could do to you. Fear what God can do to you. God bless you all. Good luck.